Happy New Comic Day, comic fans around the world. So not only do we have new comics in stores and on digital storefronts, we also got some cool comic news stemming out of the House of Ideas. So I think last week, a few days ago, Marvel announced that John Romita Jr., yes, JR, is returning to the House of Mouse, Marvel, whatever other nicknames they kind of go by. Yes, John Romita Jr. is coming back to Marvel, and he's already talked about he's already working on his next big project, which is dope. And I just wanted to share this news because I've always been a John Romita Jr. fan. Shout out to JR. I always love that tag on the books. So he's had, John Romita Sr., John Romita Jr., both two highly acclaimed artists within the comic industry and have done just tons of great work that has been well beloved. And also to say, John Romita Jr. is the cover artist and did a lot of the interiors for my favorite comic book of all time, Uncanny X-Men number 304, part of Fatal Attractions. So just him returning to Marvel, just him doing anything, like even when he went to DC, he had several stints at Marvel, did some work at DC, which he just fresh off some Superman titles, Silencer, he did a story in Detective 1027, and who knows what else. But anytime I see his name attached to anything, like I want to check it out. And like just going back to since on Amazing Spider-Man, Uncanny X-Men, Punisher, Daredevil, which is probably some of his most beloved. I don't even know, honestly, it'd be hard to choose. I'll put that to the community. If you're a John Romita Jr. fan, what do you think is his best work to date? Like what title? Because it would be, like that, I was just thinking about that now, but that one would be a tough one between Amazing Spider-Man, and we all know what the X-Men mean to me, but both of those. So like all the work that he's done, even I picked up some of his older work, like his Punisher stuff, Punisher Warzone, did some of that. And part of the idea behind picking that up because it was just some other JR work that I didn't have, so I wanted to see some of that old stuff. And we can kind of get into his criticisms a bit because, as I talked about, his DC stuff, which honestly hasn't been that great, and it pales in comparison to a lot of his older work. So why is that? I don't know. That could be a discussion for another video, for just another topic, but because I can even still go back to the old stuff that I talked about. I just reread Fatal Attractions not too long ago, so I just got to see some of his work again, and it still holds up to me. It still looks good, and even all the work that I've just picked up, again, talking about the Punisher stuff, Punisher Warzone, like, that still looks good. So I don't know if it's just how he's kind of tweaked his pencils. Maybe it's his collaborators that aren't kind of bringing the best out of what he puts out before them. So I don't know what that is, but like all the old work, it still hits. And then to a later stint at Marvel, 2010, he jumped on Avengers. I think the beginning of that was kind of like the Infinity Gauntlet stuff there. Wolverine was on the Avengers. Well, he's already on for New Avengers from before, but like the whole team there. And I was like, oh man, you know what? It doesn't quite hit the same. So even then, that's 10 years ago or 11 years ago, like you kind of saw like, oh man, it doesn't, like there's something different there, but you still want to check it out. Like I still wanted to. Obviously I was an Avengers fan and a JR fan, so obviously I'm still going to check his work out. So I was like, oh, I don't know what's going on, but I'm still excited despite his like the DC stuff, and I still wanted to check that out, even though some of it was on Superman stuff. I was like, oh, I want to see JR, so I want to see what he does with the Man in Blue, with DC's Boy Scout there. So like when it got announced, like boom, he's coming back to House Ideas. Yes, I want to see what the hell it is. And then they put out this little, not a teaser, but it's just like a promo image or whatever, like, hey, JR's coming back, and had a bunch of characters, and there's Moon Knight in there, which we're gonna get into in a second. Everybody's like, oh, is he doing something with Moon Knight? What's going on? It's a teaser for Moon Knight? Oh, yes, it is, but it has nothing to do with JR, which leads into our next bit of news. Moon Knight's coming back. He's got a new series starting July 7th, which I'm all in for because I dig Moon Knight. I haven't read his first appearance in Werewolf by Night, but I've read several of his older series, like Random Issues There, and some of the other miniseries he's had, which have all been done by just cool creative teams. Kind of, I don't want to say a different take on them, but just kind of a different look at the character, Mark Spector, and just with Moon Knight, his place in the Marvel Universe. And he's a fascinating character. People always say he's like Marvel's Batman, but it's completely different because for so much of Moon Knight's like the character's history, his mental health has been a a major like factor in, that's a major aspect of his character. Now, at one point, I think was it Bendis, or I forgot who it was, but there was one series in there that kind of, yeah, I think it was Bendis. I don't remember what artist he worked with, but they kind of took that away. It was like, oh, it was just something that he was doing. Like, oh, it was like they kind of ruined. It didn't ruin the character, but it just kind of took that away because that's such a prominent. Even though he's not A-list, but whatever. I mean, he's a dope character, but it's just such a, like, mental health and superheroes, it isn't as prominent as it should be. So here's like a dope character, well-beloved character, and like kind of took that aspect away. So it's like another character who with a different, like a strong character attribute that you kind of just taken away from the comic book and the Marvel Universe. I think that was kind of bad. I don't know if it's come back, but again, several other creative teams out there have done cool takes on the character, cool looks at the character. The new creative team, Jed McKay and Alessandro sorry, I'm going to like absolutely butcher this name, but I think it's like Italian, so maybe it's Cappuccio. I feel like it's going to be Cappuccio. So sorry if I pronounce that last name. If anybody knows how to pronounce that, please share that in the comments below. But they just talk about they've already got scripts out and they're just working on that. So that first issue drops again July 7th. They got this cool cover by Steve McNiven, who looks dope. When I first saw it, I was like, wait, is that David Finch? Like, I was like, okay, they could have just used some old art, because it really looks like at first glance, it looked like something, one of David Finch's old covers from his Moon Knight run in 2005, which looked cool. I mean, it looked cool too, but it was like, hey, it's another artist, so Steve McNiven. So, all right, that's cool. So I wonder, like, especially with Moon Knight eventually having, what is it? I don't know if it's not a movie, I think it's a Disney Plus show. Something like that. So I imagine there's going to be a ton of covers. Like, I was like, for some reason, like when I was thinking about it, I was like, oh, I wonder if they're going to show anything else. And I read the article, saw the Steve McNiven article. I was like, you know what? Especially just with this, like a new series and an upcoming Disney Plus show, this book is probably going to have like 10 damn variants. And I already pictured the Scotty Young cover in there. So it's probably going to look cool because Scotty Young always does cool art. So like, already just imagining that. But I'm looking forward to this because I like Moon Knight, and this is good. It's supposed to stem right out of the Age of Khonshu art in Avengers and all the the Midnight Mission or something like that. But this is just be cool. So I just want to share all this cool comic news. JR back at Marvel. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like, are you a fan of his? What do you think of his older work versus more modern stuff? Do you think, like, what title would you like to see him work on? What characters, teams? And what collaborators would you like to see him teamed up with? And yeah, this would be kind of cool. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing some updates on that. If you're a Moon Knight fan, share your thoughts. What do you like? Are you looking forward to this? What do you think about the Jed McKay, Alessandro Cappuccio? I think this is actually Alessandro's first, I don't know if it's first professional work or first, I know it's his first Marvel work. I don't know if it's first professional work. I have to review the article, but I will link that in the description below. Both of those, so you can go check those out. You can kind of look into those a little more if you want to. But yeah, so again, happy Nakama Day, and also apologize to everyone if you sat through this video because I'm feeling a little bit of a cold coming, so I'm extra nasally, and sorry if you hadn't listened to this voice while I share out this dope comic book news, because I can already imagine how it sounds. But yeah, we got some cool comic book news. I want to share all this on Comic Book Day. Already having some fun. Go pick out your book. Go pick up your books. Go read some cool stuff. And yeah, let's have some fun. So, happy reading, happy hunting, happy collecting. This is GENOTHADRAGON. Thanks for watching, and peace out.